Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation on composite organization. My name is Joseph Keenan and I'll be starting off today's presentation. Enjoy. So to understand what composite organization is, we have to understand the other three basic types of organizational structure. The first one is functional, which is like a standard company. You can think of like a grocery store that divides areas into groups that are specialized for what they have. Like, for example, you have a bakery that carries your breads. You got a deli for your meats, freezer section for the freezer food, stuff like that. Then you have a project-sized, where you have a project manager who's like God or the supreme being. He decides how the project goes, how resources are allocated, who's doing what, and he has the ultimate say. And then the other one is matrix, which is a combination of two or more organizational structures. So what is a composite organization? It is a blend of the other three basic types of organization. So it's important to note that it's not a combination like matrix. It does not combine multiple aspects. They just have separate projects, and each of those projects uses one of those types of organization. So for example, you can have a functional organization that needs a small building, obviously for its office. And this organization also has the capability to construct the building itself. For example, maybe it's a contracting company and they're first starting off and they want to build their own buildings. So this would become a composite organization because the organization creates a separate project team to complete this task. So how to use a composite organizational structure. So just a keynote, almost all modern organizations follow this structure. So you want to use a composite organization structure when you have different types of projects going around in your company. And instead of binding or limiting everyone to a certain structure, you can let them use the best structure for their particular project. So for example, I work in a company where we have a welding shop, and they have their own manager and they have their own structure. They have their own stuff they need to do each day and how they want to deliver their projects. And we work on different projects upstairs. We work on fixing our server and developing better software options. So obviously we each have our own kind of manager and we have our own structure. So that would be a good example of a composite organization structure.
Hi, I'm Nathan Lovelace, and this is the advantages of a composite organization. Using a composite organization means you don't have to just use one technique of organization for your business. You can use the best practice for each situation. So in the example Joseph gave, the welders and I would guess IT would be the best way to say that, used different types of organizational techniques to make their business run as smoothly as possible. Because you have one group who has to do one type of business and another who has to keep the business running. So using those different types means you can gain advantages from using those different types for different situations. Those advantages exactly are presented in the other PowerPoints. We won't go over those here. But for example, if you mix functional and matrix, you can gain, well, you wouldn't be mixing them. If you're using functional in one piece of your organization and matrix in another, each will gain its own advantages according to their organizational techniques and will be better overall. At least that is the hope of a composite organization. If not done well, then it can have problems as well.
So Nathan touched on about how the advantages and disadvantages are going to really depend on which structure or which two project structures you guys are going to use in your company. So the disadvantages are going to vary depending on which organizational type is prevalent. So we decided to list out the disadvantages for each of the different organizations just to review briefly. The disadvantages of a functional organization means that people place more emphasis on their functional speciality to the detriment of the project. The project manager is going to have little to no authority compared to the project-sized organization, and then there's no career path in project management. The disadvantages of project-sized organization is that there's a lack of professionalism and disciplines. There's a duplication of faculties and job functions, and it's going to be a less efficient use of resources And another disadvantage is that once the project is over, if you're the project manager, you're probably out of a job unless the company decides to start a new project, and then you can stay on. Another disadvantage, the disadvantages for matrix organization is that there's going to be a need for extra administration. So you're going to have more than one boss for each project team, so you have to deal with multiple bosses, which is always fun. And they're a little bit more complex to monitor and control. And you're going to need extensive policies and procedures, and there's always those problems with resource allocation. That was just a brief review of the disadvantages you're going to encounter in each of the different organizations. So when do you want to use composite organization? You're going to want to use it if you have multiple project teams that have their own specialized tasks that you want them to do. And also you want to use it when you can benefit from the specialization, the diversity, and the creativity that it brings. Some people might function better under a certain structure, so you want to give them that option. That would probably be a good idea to do it then. When you don't want to use it is if you only have one project team, then you can't even use composite because you only have one project team and you need two or more. And another example is if your organization can't handle that there's different structures running underneath of it or inside of it. So then it would be a bad idea to use it. So that concludes our presentation today. Just some key notes for the test. A composite organization is used in most more modern organizations. It is a blend, not a combination, of functional matrix and project size organization structures. And if a company says they're using composite organization, that means that company is using two or more organization structures that are different. So thank you guys and good luck on the test, and we hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Thank you.